So here I am out in the garage. It's really cold out. So I've got the most important tool of all, which is space heater. Also, in a lot of my videos, I'll be wearing safety goggles, so laugh if you want, but I'm not going to put my eye out. And I had the chance to take the car around, drive around town for the first time. I took for a really short test drive on the day I was buying it. And to get it home, it was highway, it was straight, and it was making noises. And from what I had read about the bad power steering pumps, I had assumed it was power steering. But after driving some rough, city roads, in the winter, they're cracked, there's potholes. I thought, there's no way that this can be how the suspension is supposed to feel. I know it's supposed to be stiff, but it can't be this bad. So then I started looking up the strut mounts, the upper strut mounts, and I knew they mushroomed. The ones I have here are pretty flat. I'm going to check them in a second. But for now, they look pretty good. But the actual upper strut mounts themselves, I had no idea what they were actually supposed to look like until I started looking online, saw some videos, and saw the replacements that I could buy. And, the ones I have look entirely destroyed. So this is obviously not supposed to look like that. You can even see that, I'm not sure if you can get a good angle of this, that it's kind of warped, but it is almost level with the top of the strut mount. Now, if it does turn out to be these, they're obviously shot, but if that is what's making the noise, and I believe it is, then I won't need to replace the power steering pump, which will be really nice. Power steering pump, it's like $400 or $500, and I got some budget upper strut mounts for about $60 for a pair on Amazon. I understand that the OEM ones are probably more expensive. They're probably, I called Napa and they were about $120 each. I'm going to stick with these for now. I am going to eventually move to camber plates. So I'll just stick with these for now. I'll get the problem fixed. I know you're supposed to do it right the first time, but I'm going to do these, see how they hold up. And then eventually when I get actual coilovers or an upgrade suspension, I'll have to put camber plates in anyway. So hopefully these can last the 1 or 2 years before I get to that point. Okay, so time to get started looking at those. I'm going to be following a video by Mod Mini, another YouTube channel you should check out. He's going to have way better instructions than I do. His are all from the mechanic's view. Essentially, I'm going to be using all his pointers and all his steps, so nothing can go wrong. Well, except for the bolt falls out of your jack. Go get my jack stands. Would be helpful. So I don't think it needs to be high. I think it just needs to get pressure off both front wheels so that the sway bar end links aren't under pressure because we're going to be undoing them. One of the issues with having just a single car garage is every time you go to jack something up, the handle hits all your tools. The back end's coming up too. And I have to wonder, does he put it up on all four?
Hi everybody, today I'm working on a 2004 Mini Cooper S.
He puts it up on all four, but he also has a scissor lift. So tell you what, when I make my first $1 million on here, I'll pick up a scissor lift. That's not stable. One side down, one side you go. Alright, so next, take the wheel off. Okay. Somebody Really? Wow, okay. Well, that was unexpected. Breaker bar. Yeah, breaker. I have a plug-in impact, but I guess I'll use a breaker bar. I don't know what the factory torque setting is on this, but let's see what we can do. Oh, of course. Now it's on the air. Okay, new plan. We'll use a bigger gun. What the f***? That's good, right? So I know, I know normally I'm supposed to break them free before I jack it up, and I do when I switch my own winter tires and everything. I just figured with the impact it would be fine, but these things are they're pretty on there, so I guess I'll just lower it and break them free. Well, back on the ground. So let's see if we can't get these off now. Okay, I'm gonna set this to see if it clicks. Like, I don't know what the factory torque is supposed to be. And maybe I shouldn't be using a torque wrench to take things off, but it's happening. Alright, let's say 110. Let's see if that clicks. Oh yeah. So anyway. Okay, so we're back up on jack stands. It's my fault. Should have done that before I put it in the air. Let's see what we got. So this is the first time having the wheel off. You know how when you're watching car videos on YouTube and everything goes so smoothly? Well, I'm on the first step of this. And I believe that right there is supposed to be the head of an 18 millimeter bolt that I'm supposed to take out. The other side is right here. So neither side has a head on it, which means that bolt is completely stripped. Here we are on day 2 of the upper strut mount replacement. The eagle-eyed among you probably noticed in that last clip that the rotor hex bolt was also missing. So that side of the car is not in good shape. I haven't even taken off the other wheel yet to take a look at to see what what horrors await me there. I did pick up one of these. This is a bolt extractor kit. I have never used one of these before. I'm pretty sure you just use it in a drill backwards, but looking at the bolt, obviously it's already been drilled by someone, and the, I guess, back half of it isn't in the center, so it looks like maybe they misdrilled when they were going through it. So when I looked online, this is a common problem. These bolts apparently break all the time, and because it actually is a bolt that screws right into the knuckle, it gets stuck, it gets rusted, and it shears off like that. So what a lot of people have been doing, or what people online have suggested is maybe drill the whole thing right out and then replace it with a longer bolt with a nut on the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use this kit. Like I said, I've never used one before. I'm going to try and use it. Worst case scenario, I wreck all the threads inside the knuckle and then I can switch to a bolt like everybody else has. So we're going to try that out in a few minutes. But before I start that, I'm going to at least try and get the other wheel off and see how bad it looks on that side. Yeah, why did I think it would be different? Okay, so this side was even worse. It was harder to get the bolts off, but I did eventually get them off. So come with me as I take these off for the first time. Oh, the rotor bolt is in there at least. Okay. So there is some good news in that at least one bolt is in place. So they didn't shear off both sides. Small victories. I'm not going to try and touch that today. What I'm going to do is just hit it with some PV blaster. I've already ordered 2 new bolts. It's pretty optimistic, I think, because this one, yeah, it can come out. The other one, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it out. I'm going to hit this one with some PV blaster, wait a day, and see if I can get it out like a normal bolt. So I've heated it up. Got a left-handed drill bit here. And I'm just going to start drilling. I have drilled for a while with a smaller bit. I didn't get all the way through. But from what I can read, I'm supposed to move up to a bit that's almost the same size as the bolt. So that's got to be this one. The next bigger one up is too big. So I'm going to try it with this one. And man, these also came with, I think they're called flute extractors. And we'll see how that goes. This one will definitely show me how effective it is at drilling. So. So for you, no time has passed. You just watched that last clip. For me, it's been about a week and a half. And now I'm getting back to it. But I'm no longer messing around. I have this nifty new hat that I got as a gift to let you know that I own a Mini. And what's happened since is that I picked up those Amazon bits that I used. It didn't work at all. And I should know that. I know from past experience you never cheap out on stuff like that, so not messing around. I picked up some Milwaukee Cobalt bits. That bolt is coming out today. I'm drilling it out no matter what. In the meantime, I probably made my first financial mistake, not that big, but I ordered 2 pinch bolts from BMW. These 2 bolts with the washer, free washer, $40. $40 for 2 pinch bolts. And then as soon as they arrived, I thought, I'm drilling out this bolt. There's no way those threads are going to live through this. Maybe it'll be good for the passenger side, but there's no way those threads live through this, and I'm not going to retap it just for the same thing to happen. Everyone on is drilling them out, putting the nut and bolt in. So I went to FACA Fasteners and I got these bolts, and I think for 4 bolts, some nylock nuts and 4 washers, it was 15 bucks. So yeah, no more BMW bolts. If I can help it, I'm gonna go to Facet Fasteners. And I also got this sweet cutting oil, so I'm not messing around, like I said. Let's get back to it. Now, I've been told, don't let the bit do its work. Go slow. And don't put too much pressure on, and just let the bit drill. Oh wow. I can already, wow. So much better than the last one. This is working about 100 times better. And you actually see the material. You can actually see the material coming out. Again, I have no idea how much oil to use, but I'm just going to use too much. If I'm going to make a mistake, it'll be too slow and too much oil. So I just watched some YouTube videos. I think I'm going too slow. With the oil, I think I can speed up a bit, so I'm going to speed things up a bit, hopefully. So I'm through once now. I used a 730 tooth bit, went through, took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get through the first time. I don't really know what speed. I think by the end I was speeding up a bit, and the bit seemed to be handling it fine with the cutting oil. So next thing I need to do is step the bit up. I think I need to go all the way up to a 1/2 inch to get the M12 bolt through. So that's what's coming up next. Okay. Oh! This is the bolt I'm trying to get in there. Moment of truth. Oh yeah. Job done. So you can now see the other side of the bolt here coming through. I drilled it out to 1/2 inch because that's the only cobalt bit I could find, and it's close enough. Still the M12 bolt. Once I get the nut on there, I think it's going to work out just fine. So that took way too long, but it's done now, and so I can move to the next thing. Well, I just finished drilling that last, putting the last bit through, and I thought, I know what you're thinking. Hey, wasn't this a video about replacing the upper strut mounts? Well, not yet. That'll be the next video. This is only part 1. But I wanted to show you all the the glory of working on a sort of an older rusted car. I mean, it's not even that old, it's an '06. So I wanted to show you everything I went through and give you Phil's tips for drilling out a bolt. And I guess at the end of the next, on part 2, I'll give you Phil's tips for actually replacing the strut mount. So number 1 is get some good bits. The Amazon bits, no go. Like the ones I got, these Cobalt ones, these are just a Milwaukee red Helix. I went and got Home Depot. And step up slowly. I started with the 7/30 tooth, went up to 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, and 1/2. At one point I tried to skip one, it didn't work. It was way too hard. So go through all of them and it goes a lot smoother. Also, I found that this one, the 3/8, once it got about halfway through, it started to slow down a bit, went around to the other side, started from the other side and connected quite quickly. And then once I was actually drilling the 1/2 inch, I think I was probably drilling the actual knuckle itself, because I think a 1/2 inch is a little bit bigger than the hole. The hole's probably only a 13.5 millimeter. So it was actually drilling out the knuckle and it went quite smoothly. So get good bits, skip the Amazon no-name bits. Also, put something down on the ground while you're drilling. All those little metal filings, I'm gonna have to sweep them up now. And I know what's gonna happen in a month. I'm gonna pick something up and I'm gonna get a little metal filing or a little metal piece in my palm, because it already happened once or twice. So do that. The main tip is, I read on the forums, a lot of people drill these out, and the sort of advice I got there was get the good bits, but let the bit do the work. Get the cutting oil. That's also a good idea. Get cutting oil, let the bit do its work, and just go slow and low pressure. Well, I brought Spurious Pseudo over. I'll put a link to his channel down in the description, and he knows about these things and gave me the correct advice, which is the complete opposite of that. I'm just using a DeWalt 20 volt, same one probably most of you have, on the 1 speed, full speed, with as much pressure as you can possibly put on it, full body weight. Like I was sort of catching my breath between drilling sessions, and make sure the bit stays spinning as you pull it out. So these are all tips from him. After I switched to that method, it was way easier. So yes, it took me 5 hours, but I bet if I had done it properly from the beginning, it would have been less. Also didn't help that the person before me tried to drill, instead of drilling straight through, they had a very, very skinny bit and they drilled down and missed, and it wasn't straight. So I think that sort of guided my bit down a bit. So that wasn't great. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. As far as recommendations go, I would not recommend doing this. This was more of a budget thing. I'm going to be pretty close, and I am trying to stay under budget. This is going to be pretty close as far as budget goes, all the plans I have. So buying a new knuckle wasn't really an option. I might recommend pulling the whole thing off and bring it to a machine shop. They can probably put it on a drill press and have it done in 30 seconds. So that's an option, but I've never done anything like this. So I'm pretty happy I did it, pretty satisfied with the work. The bolt fits properly. So next video is going to be me actually replacing the strut mounts, assuming that everything goes okay on the passenger side over the front here. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.